The Vols are back.
Can't kill it. Can't kill it. Go.
They waiting outside. They flooding the gates, I'm flooding the wrist. Like, no, I ain't God. It's Stormy and Scott. It Houston like when he got my brothers with me. We lighting the city on fire. Protect my Achilles, cause they tryna kill me, but I never been so alive. Yeah, whiplash, whiplash, we get whiplash, we get so live. Whiplash, 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 all night. We lit, we get whiplash, all night, all night, all night.
Drip her out in Bulgari, and she know she bad. I'm like Clyde, she like Bonnie. I came from the bottom, please don't ask me what it took. I got demons in my past, but my angels keep on shook. Man down, I can't hear a sound. Walk out on your block, I hear silence and it's loud. Man down, me a writer, raise a toast. Tryna shadow bend my boy, but you can't kill a ghost.
Well, unlike our boys here in blue, not the good blue, the bad one, we do not plan on losing to a bunch of peacocks. In fact, we plan on winning and winning in style. Oi, fellow comrades, it is Squidtard here as well as my boys, Mr. Lucas Sharp and Julio Rodriguez, and welcome back to another episode of the Vol Star Podcast, episode 32. And well, we got a lot to talk about today, don't we? Brackets are out. Of course, March Madness, everything is revealed. We know who we're playing. Kind of a dud in the SEC tournament, but as we have soon found out, it didn't really matter that much. We were going to be a 2 seed anyway. The only people that care were teams that weren't going to be in it anyway.
Georgia fans. How's that NIT treating you, dummy?
They ain't even in the NIT.
They are. They're in it.
Wait, they are?
Yeah, they are. They're in it this year.
Man, successful season for Georgia, finally.
I know, right? They're on the incline. Woo!
Hey, but Georgia fans would point out the NIT was the original, NCAA championship.
No, they won't. They're going to point out that they had a Final Four 40 years ago, so that means they're a better program today in basketball.
We could literally go out and make the Final Four, and they would just brag about how they have the same amount of natties as us. They'll just keep moving the goalposts, bro.
You know the crazy thing is about that, if I remember correctly, I think the same year they made the Final Four, they won the College World Series, if I remember. And so they always bring that up, like, oh, we've won the College World Series and we've been to a Final Four. It's like, well, I mean, that's great, but
that's probably like the best year Georgia athletics has ever had.
For sure. Well, let's go ahead and say hello to the people in the comments. What's going on, Mr. Ian the Hyper? Glad to see you in here. So, of course, shout out to the people watching on YouTube, and, of course, shout out to the people watching on Twitter. If you're watching right now, leave a comment down below. Let us know you're watching, and, of course, we'll respond to you accordingly over here on the Vol Star Podcast. We have a great time over here. We aren't, affiliated officially with the university. We're just big-time Vol fans. Whether or not you're a Tennessee Vol or a part of any fan base, including St. Peter's, we're glad to have you around. So stick around and enjoy the show. By the way, if you feel like you want to donate to the channel, donate to the Squidtard cause and the Vol Star Podcast, there should be a PayPal in the description below. Join on that. And, of course, for every single dollar I get in donations at the end of this stream, I will do 1 push-up. So say somebody donates $5, I'll get on the ground right as the stream comes to a close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You get the idea. But without further ado, let's roll into some of the news to this week. So, of course, other than the big news about the tournament and the brackets, which we'll get into momentarily, we do have some news about football this week. Spring practice has officially begun. I believe today was the first day of spring practice. Saw some great footage, saw some great action from some of the elite players, looking like James Pierce Jr. getting ready to have a phenomenal year. Shocking revelation, I know. But yeah, I've seen some great things out of him, great things out of Chris Brazzell, the transfer wide receiver. Looking forward to seeing him play out. Did you guys see any of the footage from the spring practice?
I hadn't come across it yet because I totally forgot about spring practice being this week, so I didn't really think to look for it.
That's right.
But I would assume, like you said, Pierce was doing well. Like I said, if I remember correctly, I think some people have him as the number 1 overall draft pick, according to some sources.
Ooh.
He's definitely. I feel like he's definitely
spicy.
gonna. He's definitely gonna be at least top 10. Like, there's no
for
way
sure.
he isn't.
Well, he's about it. I think he's about as good of an edge as Chase Young was for Ohio State. I'm willing to go that far. So if he gets up to that level, expect that type of talent to be drafted pretty quick.
Well, what year is
I mean,
James Pierce?
I believe he's entering his junior year. So
Yeah. He's eligible. Last year he was a sophomore, and I mean he played pretty well as a freshman last year. The year before or whatever.
right.
Like for the little time he got on the field, he made deal with it, but he had an explosion, of course, last year, and that was one of the reasons why our defense was so good was because of Pierce. And the thing is, Pierce, he was, according to most places, I think ESPN had him as almost as a 3-star. He was like one of the lowest 4 stars. And then almost every other place had him as a 4-star, except for one, which was On3, who had him as like barely a 5-star. He was like 30 out of 32 or something.
Yeah.
That's why On3 is now past 24/7 as the better recruiting site.
That's right. Hudson D was some great together. The dynamic duo of domination. That's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to seeing how that pans out.
Yeah, I mean, heck, Dobbs probably won't get much playing time. The thing is, Dobbs is so weird as an NFL quarterback because, one day he'll be, a great quarterback, then the next time he'll be a horrible quarterback. Well, I wouldn't say horrible. He just, I guess, just doesn't get the job done.
I guess he just can't stick to the right team, And it's not even just him. These quarterbacks are going around to every team like it's a game of hot potato. They're just throwing them around, trading him to every single team. Before you know it, Dobbs is going to be all across the map. He's going to visit every single state because that's where we keep throwing him.
Originally he wanted, if I remember correctly, whenever he was traded to Jacksonville, he actually liked it in Jacksonville probably the best because for a lot of people, people probably remember this, but if I remember, I think he still works at NASA part-time. So, of course, he doesn't want to play as much for plane tickets since you can just drive down there.
My boy, the Pastronaut, coming in clutch. Jerry Wells, what's going on, buddy? You and BBD straight? We absolutely are. But yeah, no, I'm glad to hear the news about Dobbs. Looking forward to seeing how he pans out in the NFL. Another season, hopefully this time him and Jennings are going to go all the way and give Jennings that rightful spot as Super Bowl MVP, or maybe it's Dobbs. I don't know. We'll find out. But yeah, that's.
I will say this, Jennings. I know some people shit on him in NFL circles or whatever because it's like, oh, he's kind of the oddball of the receiver group with the 49ers. But he's the one that always shows up anytime in the clutch.
Yep.
He's the one that always catches that goddamn ball.
Like literally, I've talked. There's multiple 49ers fans on like Twitter, and they all love Jennings. They all love him.
Oh, I know. I mean, the 49ers
Well,
fans
he's a
love him.
baller.
I was more talking about like how some other fan bases shit on him, like even Cowboys fans that could try to shit on him. It's like, bro, they fucking own us at this point right now. It's the 80s all over again.
Yeah,
I wasn't alive then, but it's practically the 80s where, except for the only difference is the 49ers, instead of winning Super Bowls, they're choking at the finish line instead of winning them.
For sure. Jerry Wells makes a great point here. What are the odds Triple J plays his brother in the NCAA? crazier things have happened, but no, that is definitely whack.
I
Wait,
know.
Josiah Jordan James's brothers in the NCAA tournament. Who does he play for? You said Triple J, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, who's his brother play for? I didn't know I figured he had a brother, but
I know
didn't
we're
that.
playing. I know we're playing Zakai Ziegler's brother because he plays
Yeah.
for St. Peter's.
Yeah. Are they both on that team too? That'd be crazy. Wow. Ian the Hyper, let Lucas know he's now in the ring. Whichever ring that may be has yet to be determined.
Well, hopefully,
Uh,
hopefully, I don't get eliminated.
Yeah, right. What's going on, Mr. Bailey? Glad to see you in here, good sir.
Man, we got a crowd tonight.
And yeah, according to Jerry Wells, yeah, so he's on St. Peter's too, or maybe that's it.
Oh, he was talking about Zakai Ziegler's brother. That's
Yeah,
who he's talking
okay.
about.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I'm wrapping my head around that one.
I was confused for a second. I was about to say I didn't know Josiah Jordan James had a brother.
I feel like all the sports networks would have been going insane over this matchup if that were true. That on top of that, so yeah. Well, I guess I don't know. We'll have to see how that pans out.
Also, that would have been weird because here's the thing: Josiah Jordan James, he's from South Carolina. It would be kind of weird for a person born in South Carolina to play for St. Peter's, because a lot of because I don't think they would have the recruiting budget to recruit someone from South Carolina, because a lot of those players on that St. Peter's team that made the Elite Eight, I'm pretty sure they were all from like New York, New Jersey.
Exactly. Yeah. No, you make a great point there.
Yeah, thankfully we don't have to play Dougie Buckets.
Yeah. So stick around, fellas. Stick around, people in the live chat. In a few minutes, I'm gonna go ahead and fill out my bracket, my official bracket for the Vol-Star podcast. Everybody will get to watch me and then probably watch me fail horribly, because it's funny because I told you guys last week when we did this show, I picked South Carolina to beat Tennessee in the SEC tournament for the sole reason that I'm not going to jinx it. Well, I did. Instead of them losing afterwards, they lost before they even got to that spot. So thanks for doing that, Tennessee. Hopefully they don't let me down.
If you think about it, though, they're getting more rest to prepare for a more important tournament. Am I doing it right, Kentucky fans? Am I doing it correctly?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you are doing it correctly, because it's kind of true if you think about it. I mean,
that's the only good thing about losing early. It gives us more practice and rest for St. Peter's, even though, call me crazy, I'm not gonna. You know what? No, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna.
It also gives Auburn fans the opportunity to pretend that they matter. So,
who ended up winning the SEC championship?
Never mind. Auburn. I take that back. Nobody even knows who they won it.
It was Auburn.
I didn't even. Oh, it was Auburn who won it? Well, I'm not meaning to sound mean. I was like, I just didn't pay attention because Tennessee was eliminated.
No, you're good. But it was Auburn.
All right. Well, on that note, it's time to move on. Before we get into the rest of the basketball talk, I want to jump on this real quick. So, baseball, the baseball team, not a great week for them. They started out strong, beat Alabama 11-3, but then after that, just kind of fell off, lost the series 3-6 in the second game, and then 6-7. And they led in both of those games for a majority, but then Bama climbed all the way back and they won that. Was it for the third one that Bama led, or the second one?
No, so Bama practically led the entire game on those last two, because Bama at one point, I can't remember, what was it? They were up 6-0 in the last game.
Oh,
yeah, in the second one. I thought
in the second one they were up 6-0.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think they were up pretty big on us both times.
In the third game, I know it was up like 4-1.
And then the first game, they were also up on us. Like what was it? It was like 3-1 or something. But Tennessee, of course, had that explosion, and I want to say with the fourth or fifth inning, they kind of carried us.
Too bad we couldn't keep doing that.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. That was our first road series of the season, which is still kind of crazy because we're like, What about a little bit over a quarter of the way through the season? Which, I mean, I guess if you count the neutral site tournament, then it's not our first technical road game, but I'm talking about SEC play.
Yeah. Well, Lucas, that's rough. You got eliminated by the previous Rumble winner, Spider-Man.
Me
according to
and
Ian the
my
Hyper.
me and my homies hate Spider-Man. I hope the Green Goblin comes in and kills him.
You know the funny thing, I was actually just playing Spider-Man 2 before I got on this. It's so funny you mentioned that.
I
don't know why.
Green Goblin should have killed Spider-Man when he had the chance in the first movie.
That's a weird coincidence.
Very coincidental indeed. How about the softball team? They had a pretty good week. 3-0 against good old Missouri. They dominated pretty well. 9-0 the first game, 8-2 in the second, and 4-0 in the third. They had a dominant week. So shout out to the softball team. And I'm looking forward to seeing how they do this season. I think they're going to be in competition for a natty, as they should be. So, not much else to say about that, huh? Unfortunately, the same result cannot be said about the hockey team. They finally went down. They lost to FAU 4-3, and their season comes to a close. And
FAU, goddamn fucking FAU.
We can't escape them. We can't escape them, I guess.
They can't keep getting away with it.
This is now the second time, yeah. Why do they keep doing this to us?
Getting away with.
Yeah, no, for real. That is tough. What's going on, Andrew the Textbook? Good to see you, buddy. He's one of our he comes every single week. So one of our regulars here. Glad to see him here.
Yo, Andrew, how you feel about your matchup with Oregon coming up? Because I know Oregon's they're hot right now. They just basically ran through the Pac-12 tournament.
Yeah, well, I was going to say this. So with Oregon, this don't really have anything to do with their team. Did y'all see what Phil Knight looked like watching Oregon? He looked like a damn corpse. Like he looks like if he took a drink of a McDonald's Sprite. It looked like if he took a drink of like a McDonald's Sprite, he would die.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I'm the final entrant. Lucas, I'll avenge you. On a related note to what Ian just said, hold on. Here goes Lucas right here.
I can't stand Spider-Man. I can't stand him. I hate him.
Yeah, there's Lucas for you.
Oh man, who was that guy? Was that?
I think his name's Queso. I saw some of the streams that he did, and his reactions are hilarious. Andrew the Textbook says, I'm on the fence about who I will pick. Of course, if you're a homer, you already know the answer, but fun fact, Oregon's leader in terms of minutes played, Jermaine Cousinard, used to be a player for South Carolina. That sounds a lot like the North Carolina situation. I forgot who they're going to be playing in the future if the things line up, but apparently it's supposed to be somebody who was on North Carolina's team. We'll get to that when we get to the bracket. Yep. Was
you working on that like the whole time while we was talking?
Can neither confirm nor deny that statement. So,
oh my gosh, that's insane.
I come in clutch with the videos. Let's see. So before we get to the men's basketball in the tournament, I do want to go ahead and talk about the Lady Vols real quick. So by this point last week, they had already lost to South Carolina, but I think they got a little generosity here from the NCAA in terms of seeding. They're coming in as a 6th seed. And they're playing the Green Bay Packers, so hopefully they get it's not the Packers. They're playing Green Bay, the
Phoenix, I think it's the Phoenix.
Yeah, the Green Bay Phoenix.
Yeah, that always throws me off. Like the Green Bay Phoenix just does not sound like a university name. That sounds like an auto-generated.
Well, it's just funny when you talk about the women's tournament. Yeah, like I'm looking forward to that matchup, Tennessee versus Green Bay. Like what?
Oh,
Tennessee.
future Super Bowl matchup right there.
I got to be honest, Lucas. Both those teams are closer to the women's tournament than they are the Super Bowl.
That's just
Sorry.
dirty. That's
Well,
just dirty.
that's what you get for trading Derrick Henry. What were you thinking?
I mean, what he was going to leave anyway. We didn't trade him. He just left. He was already a free agent.
Sure.
Yeah,
okay.
well,
Okay.
they
I would have been a lot nicer about that if you didn't trade him for a bag of chips and a quarter. So, because that's basically what you traded him for.
Well, the thing is, running backs. They've had the problem with running backs, which I don't know if y'all know who Brett Coleman is. I think he has a YouTube channel where he breaks down stuff about the NFL and even just like football in general, mostly NFL, but I think he does college sometimes. But he actually has a thing about how the value of the running back has shifted over time from like one of the most important pieces of a team, whenever like football first started, to practically being, practically useless almost, because they practically replace them every 4 years now.
Right. For sure. All right. Well, yeah, that's what's going on with the Lady Vols. So hopefully that pans out for them. I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing them in the round of 32. If they don't make it past Green Bay, then maybe I'll be joining in the fire. Yeah, I may or may not be joining in that, but I'm not jumping on that train.
All right, part of me wants Green Bay to win now.
No.
What is Green Bay's record, out of curiosity? Because I know they're an 11 seed.
I can look it up really quick.
Let's find out.
I'm just curious because I remember I know they have to have a pretty good record for them to be an 11 seed, and that I think they play in like a pretty small conference.
Oh yeah, they play in the Horizon League, so take from that what you will. They're 27-6.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, they've had a good record, but remember they
play in the Horizon League.
They play Cotton Eye Joe East University every single
week.
Who take from that what you will.
Who are their losses to? Because I know not Baylor. I don't know why I said Baylor. Butler was in the Horizon League for the men's, and they made the national championship.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter because I'm going to look through there and I'm just going to see about 7 different East Kentucky School of the Blind schools. So, it doesn't really matter too much. Tennessee should clutch up, and then we can move on to the round of 32.
Oh, I know. I was assuming that we would win, but I was just wondering who they had lost to, because I was wondering who their 6 losses were to, if it was all to good teams, or if they lost to like some really bad team or something.
Well, if they end up losing, I'm sure we'll have to hear all about it. So here's a textbook. But I'm honestly happy South Carolina's just in the tournament. Oh yeah, they absolutely. They absolutely came across and came up clutch this season because y'all were picked to finish last. So yeah, definite W there. Hold on, let me play the video again.
I can't stand Spider-Man. I can't stand him.
There you go. All right, let's go ahead and roll into the Let's go ahead and roll into the main event here. So the men's basketball team, they're coming in as a 2 seed. We're playing. Put up another graphic for the. We're playing these guys, St. Peter's Peacocks. Oh boy, that's going to be a fun matchup. You guys think we're going to be in a good position there?
I think so. This ain't the same St. Peter's team that beat Kentucky 2 years ago. They don't have Doug Eddard. They don't have that Indefo guy. They don't have that Brooks guy. And plus, it's a different coach, too. And plus, they kind of got lucky in their conference tournament as well. I'm not really worried about it, to be honest with you.
I know I shouldn't be worried, but it's like I just kind of know the song and dance with us at this point.
Yeah. But, man, I don't know about you guys.
I was gonna say, but we usually at least make it past the first round.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think looking at history, we probably should at least make the round of 32, and then I'll probably be worried. But we could lose this game. It's March, it's in the name. It's March Madness.
Yeah, no, that's what March Madness is all about, baby. So get used to it, Get used to it. All right. Well, without further ado, I think we don't need to waste any more time. I think it's about time that I make my picks, but do my bracket for the fellas watching. So let me go ahead and present the screen so that you guys can watch me do this bracket, and hopefully things pan out well. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see for sure how it goes. So this is my bracket. We're gonna do this live. So
No, okay.
I spoiled it right here. UConn. I have UConn beating Stetson.
Oh, come on. You disrespecting the Hatters like that?
Stetson a playoff team, sir. Excuse me.
Who Stetson's most famous alumni is?
Who?
Jacob deGrom.
How do you know that?
I just know it. I know, like I said, I know random facts. Do you know where Stetson's located?
It's located in is it the Northeast?
No, it's in Florida.
Florida?
Yeah, it's in DeLand, Florida.
Julio, if you come to the Slob Olympics next year, I'm picking you to win it. That's just my analysis on that. But anyway, yeah, UConn. I think we all can expect UConn to win that. FAU and Northwestern, who y'all got?
FAU, Northwestern.
I'm going to go.
Northwestern hasn't really been in too many March Madnesses, if I remember correctly, because I think. Can someone pull up Northwestern's NCAA tournament history? I know they haven't been to many.
I know they went a few years ago and they won a game, and then it was against Vandy. I'm pretty sure they won against Vandy, and then they went on.
I'm not putting too much thought into this, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it should. FAU should win this game, but in my opinion, they shouldn't be in the tournament. It should be USF there.
Actually, says we got some breaking news.
Breaking news.
I might say this because usually I don't know what it is, but a lot of the smarter schools usually always in one of the smarter schools in the NCAA tournament always make a run like a Harvard or a Princeton as of late. So I think Northwestern might could pull it out.
We'll see. I picked FAU. All right, San Diego State and UAB, the 12th seed UAB Blazers. That's who I'm rolling with. Give me UAB over San Diego State.
I would personally go with San Diego State, but I could see UAB winning that game. They're hot right now. They just went and won the American Conference Tournament Championship. The Blazers are playing pretty well right now. I could definitely see UAB winning that game.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, Andrew, the textbook is okay. So first appearance is 2017, and 2017 was its first appearance ever. So what? This is like their second time in the tournament, second or third?
The third time, yeah.
Oh, third time. All right.
Okie dokie. Well, so I have UAB winning against San Diego State and Auburn versus Yale. I'm going to take Auburn. I think. Against Yale, so there you go. That looks like BYU and Duquesne. This is a tough one.
Congratulations to Duquesne making their first ever NCAA tournament appearance since 1977.
Yeah, just based on that alone, give me Duquesne to beat BYU.
I actually picked Duquesne because Duquesne they're playing pretty dang good basketball right now.
Okie dokie.
And I really ain't been impressed with BYU as of late.
And then Illinois and Morehead State. I'm going to take Illinois. I think they win that one.
Yeah, I agree. But if you guys are watching this, if you want to pick a 14 over a 3, I would pick Morehead State over Illinois because, in my opinion, Morehead State's probably the best 14 seed out of all the 14 seeds. But I would still pick Illinois in that matchup, but I'm just saying if you want to pick a 14 over 3, pick Morehead State over Illinois.
Okie dokie. Well, after that, you got Washington State and Drake. I'm going to take the 7 seed. Give me Washington State to win against Drake. And then Iowa State and South Dakota State. This one could potentially be interesting. And Julio doesn't seem to think so. He just left. He'll be back.
Yeah, I don't think he liked your pick for Washington State.
But I'm gonna stick with the 2 seed here and say the Cyclones beat South Dakota State.
Yeah.
All right. So on to the South bracket. Houston and Longwood. Gonna go with Houston there. No surprise there.
All right. Can y'all
Nebraska-
hear me now?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
You're good. Yeah.
All right. Could y'all hear me earlier? Because I was
Yeah.
trying to talk, but
Yeah, you're
Oh.
fine.
Oh, what
Yeah.
was you gonna-
all right. All right. I didn't know because my one of my sister ended up calling me, and I thought my thing messed up.
No, you're good. You're here.
Yeah, I was also gonna say this. If I remember correctly, I was trying to think. There was something I was gonna say. Go down. Who else you had in your bracket on the first side? Oh, I was gonna say Morehead State. Do y'all know who their most famous alumni is?
Lady Gaga?
Spider-Man.
So their most famous alumni would probably be Kenneth Fareed, who played for the Nuggets.
Oh,
It was actually pretty good. Well, for a little while there, he sucked near the end. But
All right.
I actually got to see him play in person against Tennessee Tech.
Ooh, that must have been spectacular. All right, moving on, Nebraska and Texas A&M here. I've heard a lot of interesting things about this matchup since both of these teams are playing the most
Squid,
men and women.
please take Nebraska ball. Please take Nebraska ball.
I picked A&M for my last bracket. I'm going to take Nebraska for this one.
I'm telling you, Nebraska, when they're hot, they're hot. That Kaisi Tominaga guy that they have, he can hit. He can shoot it.
Okie dokie. Well, you don't have to convince me too much. Then Wisconsin and James Madison. I'm going to take James Madison for the upset. I just don't know about Wisconsin. I don't know if they're all that good.
Agreed.
All right.
James
And then-
Madison's legit, man.
Facing them between Duke and Vermont. I'm going to go with the Blue Devils. Give me Duke, the Blue Devils. Shout out to my boy, College Basketball Talk, CBT, wherever he's at in this current day and age. Let's see. Huh?
I was going to say Vermont always seems to make the tournament. They always dominate their conference.
Right.
Yeah, because their conference is poo-poo.
Hey, UMBC is in that conference, I'll have you know.
Yeah. for
Oh,
sure.
the mighty UMBC who beat
Yeah.
Virginia.
Right. Before we move on to the next one, I got to do this real quick. What's going on? Yes, sir. Glad to have you around, buddy. One of our regulars for sure. Glad to have you around here. All right, Texas Tech and NC State. I'm going to take the 11 seed NC State. They're on a roll. I think they go on a roll out because they won the ACC. I think they continue that streak going forward. And then, of course, our good old friends, Kentucky against Oakland. As much as it would be a funny if I pick Oakland, I'm going to take Kentucky to beat.
Give me the Golden Grizzlies.
Yo,
Give me the
Oakland-
Golden Grizzlies.
I'm pretty sure Oakland's actually pretty solid.
If I remember correctly, check me if I'm wrong. That's Oakland, Michigan. Let me check. I'm pretty sure
I
they're
don't
located.
really know.
Wait,
But
look up the Oakland Grizzlies. I swear it's located
Speaking
not
of,
in Oakland, California.
Speaking of
please.
Michigan, Third and Nate is here. What's going on, buddy? He says, I can only dream that Nebraska versus Creighton for a national title. Yeah,
They can
Yeah.
only meet each other in the Final Four.
that's right. So a lot would have to happen. Nebraska would have to knock off Houston. So I don't know. And then Florida against either Boise State or Colorado. I'm going to take Florida either way. I think they win. I think they're I think they're red hot after that loss to Auburn. I think they continue kind of dominating throughout some of these games. And then finally, Marquette and Western Kentucky. Give me Marquette to beat Western Kentucky. It should be an interesting one. I think that one will be a good game, but I think Marquette will come out on top.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, if you want to pick a 15 over a 2, pick Western Kentucky over Marquette. And honestly, in my bracket, I personally picked Western Kentucky not to just beat Marquette, but also make the Sweet 16, just because the last 3 years a 15 seed has made the Sweet 16.
Oh yeah, no. If Oakland won, yeah, Calipari would have it. He'd have his hands full, that's for sure. Then it's because it would happen in national title in the state of Nebraska. Oh yeah, yeah, Omaha. All right, on to the West bracket. North Carolina and then Howard probably. I'm gonna take North Carolina in whichever scenario it ends up being. And next up, Mississippi State and Michigan State. Tough matchup here. 8 versus 9. This is always a hard one to pick, but I'm going to go with the Cowbell College and say Mississippi State gets the dub. And next up, we got St. Mary's and Grand Canyon University. Not the women's team, so don't get down bad on me yet, fellas. Anyway.
I'm pretty sure their men's team's pretty good. They only have like 4 losses.
They are. They're pretty good. But I really like St. Mary's in this matchup, so give me them to win.
If I remember, ain't Vanderbilt's former coach coaching there, Bryce Drew?
I think so, yeah.
Because the thing is, Bryce Drew, he's also one of the people that is famous for his March Madness stuff. Whenever Valparaiso beat someone, I can't remember. I know they beat someone, but Valparaiso beat someone. I can't remember off the top of my head. But I just remember they upset someone because Bryce Drew hit a shot.
Okie dokie. Next up, number 4, Alabama and 13th seed Charleston. I'm going to take Bama to beat Charleston in that matchup. Then next up, we got Clemson and New Mexico. Give me the Lobos. I've got a feeling about them being a pretty good team this year. I think they might get far, but I don't know. We'll have to see.
New Mexico. I've saw a lot of people. They are a sneaky Final Four pick. I've seen quite a few people have them making the Final Four.
And another sneaky pick right here between Baylor and Colgate. Give me the Toothpaste College. I think they beat Baylor. That's one I feel confident in picking because I feel like Baylor. I'm not too sure about him, but I think Colgate. I think they're going to go on a run.
Oh, you think they finally win a tournament game?
Maybe. I think they do. I really do. The next up, Dayton and Nevada. Oh.
Actually, I think Colgate actually has been to an Elite Eight, but that was like in like the 50s, I think.
Oh,
right.
Sorry.
No, you're good. 38 says, what state that has university/colleges have won a natty before in any sport? Wait, what? What state has universities that have won a natty before in any sport? I feel like every university does. Maybe not Colgate. I don't know.
I think Baylor needs to brush their teeth to win.
Brush her teeth.
I remember when Tennessee was playing Colgate. My papaw, he was like, "Who's Tennessee going to be playing next? Are they going to be playing Crest?"
Yeah, that's a low-hanging fruit, but I get it. I made the joke just a minute ago too. So, okay, you verified that. Haven't. Colgate could be one. I think so. Anyway, Dayton versus Nevada. I'm going to go with Dayton to beat Nevada, and then finally Arizona and Long Beach State. This is a tough one for me to pick, but I'm going to stick with Arizona, even though I do not think they are Final Four material anywhere near.
I was going to say, so did you all see the story about the Long Beach State head coach? He got they agreed to part ways, and then he won the conference.
And then he continued winning, yeah.
So is he still getting fired?
I guess. He's going to after the season.
I don't think so, no. I think they've reinstated him.
What if imagine he goes out and takes Long Beach State to the national championship and then he still gets fired?
I would laugh my ass off if Long Beach State went to like the Elite Eight.
This comment here by Andrew the Textbook is kind of the reason why I'm sticking with Colgate. I've got a feeling they're a sneaky pick here for one of these lower seeds.
Yeah, Colgate, they're usually a good team in the tournament every single year, unless besides the fact that they can't win a game.
Yeah. Then we got up next in the Midwest, Purdue versus whoever the heck. Doesn't really matter. I'm sticking with Purdue. Think they win. I don't think they get cursed this season.
Hopefully they.
So I got I got a question for y'all. So, the Purdue lost last year as a 1 seed to a 16 seed to Fairleigh Dickinson. So,
Yeah.
do y'all think that Purdue can pull off of Virginia and win the national championship?
Possibly. I mean, in my bracket, I actually picked Purdue to win the national championship just solely off the fact because of what Virginia did a few years ago, losing to UMBC and then going on the next season winning it all.
Did UConn do that too, or did UConn just kind of float somewhere? I don't know where they were in the 22 bracket, but I do know they're pretty good. Pretty good. But anyway, next up, Utah State and TCU. Utah State's a sneaky good team. I'm going to take them to beat TCU. And somebody's cooking something in the microwave.
Oh, sorry. I forgot to mute my thing.
But yeah, I heard Utah State's a good team. I've heard some people say like they're underseeded.
Yeah, no, that's exactly why I think they'll win. So yeah, I'm going to stick with them. Gonzaga and McNeese.
That's a tough. That's going to be a good game.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Gonzaga and say they get the dub. It's a tough one, but I'm going to stick with them and say they do it.
Gonzaga's kind of underachieved this year compared to what they usually do. Do y'all think Gonzaga can? Sorry, my thing went off. But I was gonna say, do y'all think Gonzaga can make it far finally? Well, I mean, they always usually make it kind of far, but do y'all think like they could, have maybe their Cinderella run where they underachieve in the regular season and finally win the national championship or something?
No.
That's gonna be tough.
I mean, they would have to take on Purdue and then either Creighton or Tennessee.
Yeah, so good luck with that. BPD, that's all I've got to say to that. Real quick, Third and Nate asked, I know it's still college basketball season, but y'all hear that Trev Alberts, the former Cornhusker athletic director from Nebraska, chose to go to Texas A&M. That's crazy. That's whack. Next up, Kansas and Samford. Another tough one here. Kansas kind of reeling from the tournament. This is a tough one. Yeah. Bark.
It's the Georgia Mickey Mouses. Run away.
No, not them. Not them. Oh, by the way, before we roll on, did y'all know this is going to be the least shocking news in the history of shocking news? But look, they lost in another sport. What? You mean to tell me that Georgia's only good in one sport? What the crap? Yeah.
But
anyway,
yeah. Anyway, this Kansas Samford game, personally, I picked Kansas, but I might change my pick. I need to find out if Hunter Dickinson or in that McCullough guy are playing. If they're not, I'm probably going to change my pick to Samford.
All right. Well, this is a tough one for me, but I'm going to say I'm going to stick with Kansas. Kansas is a Final Four team, sir. I uploaded a video today talking about if Kansas is a playoff team in football. Yeah. I'd recommend checking that out after this stream's over. But
yeah, random question, Squid. If Hunter Dickinson and McCullough are announced out for the game, do you consider changing your pick?
Maybe. I don't know. It's too by that point, it may be too late, but if it's still possible, perhaps. This one's going to be an interesting one. South Carolina and Oregon. Andrew talked about this one earlier. I'm really, really intrigued to see who wins this one. I'm going to take the Gamecocks. It's going to be a close game, but I think South Carolina moves on. Next up, Creighton and Akron. Creighton is a really good team this year. I'm going to take them to win that game pretty easily. Then we got the last two here, Texas versus either Virginia or Colorado State. Both those teams aren't very good, so whoever they end up playing, I'm going to take Texas. And then finally, no other reasoning needed. I'm picking Tennessee to beat St. Peter's.
You're going to get shot?
Hey. Next up, now we're on to the round of 32, so let's go ahead and go through this. UConn and FAU. Is there anybody that genuinely believes UConn could be knocked out by the round of 32?
No, they're not. They're not losing to FAU. They're not.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so. Give me UConn.
You,
Then-
I mean,
What? War?
Julio, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say something, but it's loud down here because it's down.
Okay, you're good, man. Just you're good. How about this state matchup here? UAB and Auburn. Ooh, this is a tough one.
I would go with Auburn. They're playing really well right now.
Yeah, but Cinderella, baby. Give me UAB.
Oh man.
Oh, I was gonna say sorry because I was downstairs because I had to watch the dogs for a second.
Yep.
But I was gonna say that UConn's kind of weird because they either usually make it pretty far into the tournament or they like disappoint really bad.
UAB, yeah. Well, I expect them to make it far.
So, UAB used your Cinderella.
Sorry.
What?
Wait, Julio, I'm sorry. What were you gonna say, man?
I was just saying something about UConn or whatever.
Oh.
Where were we?
We're not
Okay.
professionals, people. We're not professionals.
Clearly not. Yeah. I guess. I guess not.
I can't stand Spider-Man.
Duquesne, Illinois. Dude, this is a tough one. I like both of these teams, but I'm gonna stick with Illinois. I think they win that one. No arguments there. All right, moving on.
Nope.
State and Iowa State. Both of these teams are pretty good, but I'm gonna take the higher seed, giving Iowa State.
Yes, Iowa State is really good this year.
Yeah, I like them. Yeah. I think they are very, very good this season. So expect for them to go pretty far. All right, Houston and Nebraska. Woo! Talk about a spicy game here. I like Houston a lot. I like Houston. This is a tough one. I'm going to say Houston wins. I'm going to say they carry out and get the dub there against Nebraska. And finally, next up, not really finally, I don't know where that came from. But anyway, James Madison and Duke. Like Duke, think they're a really good team this season. James Madison, though, I think they've got a lot of potential to go pretty far this season.
James Madison, please.
Ooh.
James Madison, personally, they're my Cinderella.
I'm going to stick with Duke. I think they go further than last year. They got knocked out in the round of 32 last year. I'm going to take them to go a little further this time. So give me Duke in that matchup. All right, NC State and Kentucky. Ooh, spicy game here.
NC State.
Yeah, not much debate there from Lucas. For me, though, as much as funny as it would be, give me Kentucky beat NC State.
I mean, it could happen. I mean, NC State.
Yeah, it could very well happen. Yeah. Then Marquette in Florida. I think Florida is the hottest team right now in the SEC. Give me the Gators to beat Marquette. That's kind of my pick there. I do think Marquette's a good team, but I think Florida is going to be the better one in that matchup, and I think they get the dub.
But yeah, like I said earlier, I have like Western Kentucky beating Marquette and then beating Florida to move on to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Anyway, North Carolina, Mississippi State. Ooh, tough one here. Very, very tough one, I think.
I mean, you got to at least have one seed and lose in the second round because it usually happens every year.
With all that being said, Badoo, Mississippi State wins against North Carolina in my bracket. I don't even think the Tar Heels were a number one pick, or a number one seed anyway. So
yeah, that's fair. Personally, my number one seed that I have going out in the second round is Houston and Nebraska, just because I really like Nebraska.
Then up next, St. Mary's and Alabama. Got to have at least one SEC team go down in the round of 32. Give me St. Mary's to beat Alabama. All right. Then next up, the matchup of the Cinderellas, New Mexico and Colgate. This is a very tough one. both these teams I'm picking to kind of go far, but I guess not far enough. Somebody's got to fall here. RIP to the toothpaste man. Give me New Mexico to advance. The next up, Dayton and Arizona. Ooh, another tough one here. What are you thinking?
In my bracket, I picked Dayton because Arizona, I think they're fraudulent.
I like your thinking. Give me Dayton too. Okie dokie. On to Purdue and Utah State. I picked North Carolina to go down as the 1 seed. Can't do the same for Purdue. I think they beat Utah State in advance.
Yeah.
The next up, we got Gonzaga and Kansas. Both these teams kind of, I don't know. There's a lot of unknowns at these teams, but I'm going to take Gonzaga. I think they advance. I like Kansas, but I don't think they go further than that. Then next up, South Carolina and Creighton. Ooh, this is a really tough one. Really tough one for me to pick.
I would go with Creighton. I just think they're the better team.
They are on paper, for sure, which is why I'm going with South Carolina. Give me the Gamecocks. I think those birds get the job done over the other birds. And then finally, in the round of 32, the battle of the UTs, Texas and Tennessee. Like Texas, I think they're a pretty good team, but you already know. Can't go against my Vols. Give me the Tennessee Vols, the real UT, to move on to the Sweet 16. All right, now we're moving back up, all the way up here. UConn and UAB.
No way. You got to let UAB's Cinderella run here, man.
Yeah, sorry. Your luck's run out, UAB. That's the way I see it. UConn's just too good, I think. Next up, Illinois and Iowa State. Ooh, tough one here. Give me the Cyclones. Yep. All right. So Iowa State moving on to the Elite Eight in my bracket. Then Houston versus Duke. Kind of the same thing with UAB, but to a lesser extent. I'm going to go Houston. I think they're just that good, and they get the move. They get the move on. And then Kentucky and Florida. Oh, man, this is a very tough one. Oh, man, who do I go with? You know what? Give me the Gators. Give me Florida.
I was about to say, can we root for a spontaneous combustion of
in
the arena?
If it were me, it would be the Meteor that wins. But unfortunately, that's not who wins. It's Florida that does. So give me the Gators. And the meltdown from Kentucky man on Twitter will make this probably pretty enjoyable from our end, I think, if this were to happen. Back down over here to the bottoms, Mississippi State and St. Mary's. I'm going to go St. Mary's. I think they beat the Cowbell College. I really like St. Mary's this season. I think they've got something really well going for them. New Mexico and Dayton. I think the Cinderella run continues. Yeah, give me New Mexico to beat Dayton, move on to the Elite Eight. Then Purdue and Gonzaga.
I'd go Purdue here.
Yeah, give me the Soiler Makers. I think they move on to the Elite Eight. And then finally, the Gamecocks and Tennessee. Going to be a tough one, I think, for Tennessee to win this one. They've already beaten them once. This is going to be a great matchup, but I'm going to take the Vols to beat South Carolina and end their run. So there you have it. Now we're on to the Elite Eight. So back up here on top, UConn and Iowa State.
Personally, on my bracket, this is where I had Iowa State beat UConn. Just because the number one overall seed hasn't won it in like forever. And Iowa State, they're playing really good basketball right now.
Once again, man, I like your thinking. I'm going to take Iowa State to move on to the Final Four. So, yeah, I really like them too this season. I think they've got a lot of potential. And I thought they should have been a 1 seed over North Carolina. So, take from that what you will. Then Houston and Florida. I took the 1 seed to go down. Can't do it here. I think Houston goes on to the Final Four. This is where the Gators' run comes to a close. So there's your first two Final Four teams. Then down here, St. Mary's and New Mexico.
The Lobos, baby, the Lobos.
I like the Lobos. I think they've got a good run coming, but this is where their luck ends. I think St. Mary's advances to the Final Four. And then finally, Purdue and Tennessee. So if this were to happen, this means Tennessee would have to go through Zaccaday to get to their first Final Four. And then they shut up all the trolls. I think they do, and I think they get on to the Final Four. They beat Purdue, and now here we are. So this is This is my Final Four in this bracket. So Iowa State and St. Mary's. This is a tough one to call.
I'd go Iowa State.
That's who I'm going to. Give me the Cyclones to go on to the Natty, and then finally Houston and Tennessee. Oh man,
sadly. This is where I would think Tennessee's run would end. I would have to go Houston. But I could very well be wrong. I think Tennessee could also win that game. That would be a good game.
Well, in my totally non-biased, non-homerism pick that is completely unbiased and is just my general thoughts, I think Tennessee beats the hell out of Houston. Give me Tennessee to move on to the national championship. So there you have it. Two seeds. 2-2 count in the finale. Oh, this is a tough one to call, fellas. Iowa State and Tennessee. Who would y'all go with in this matchup? Would y'all go with Tessesis
or Iowa CCs?
Yeah, or Tessesis. Tessesis or Tessesis. If it were me, I would have picked Rutgers, but they're not here, so.
I would have picked the Arizona School of the Blind, but sadly they didn't make it this year.
Darn. Or Wuckners. So many good picks. Or Rutgers or Rugters. Man. But anyway, Lucas, who would you pick here?
I don't know. That honestly, if Tennessee was to make it this far and lose, I honestly wouldn't even be upset. I would just be happy and be like, you know what? We made the national championship. We finally shut up all the people who make the Final Four jokes. Like, I would just be happy with that we even made it that far.
Well, you already know this. If a Zero Final Fours argument comes to a close, the moment we lose this game, well, you don't even have any national championships, man. That's exactly why I think the Vols take it all the way home, and they get the win. So give me Tennessee to win the national championship in my completely unbiased bracket.
Unbiased opinion.
Yo, I know. Yep. The funny thing is that a lot of people I saw was like, don't pick Tennessee or Purdue to go far. And then I was just like, what if Purdue and Tennessee meet each other in the Elite Eight?
Yeah, well, and if Tennessee is going to go out in the first round and lose to St. Peter's, I might as well look like an idiot doing it. So here we go. Yep.
I don't think.
Congrats. You're darn right. Congrats.
I don't think they are. I think we're going to beat St. Peter's.
Beautiful, man. This would be a beautiful bracket. Squidtardy Wardies. Yeah, Squidtardy Wardies. I'm going to change the name of that real quick.
Oh, so you already made two other brackets?
Yeah, I was in another group chat with some people, and I made one there. So there you have it. Kentucky sucks. My official bracket. So, yeah, you guys let me know what you think down below in the comments. I hopefully Lucas and Julio will have their brackets made before it's too late. Yeah, before it's too late. So
when's the deadline for it? Because I might just make mine tonight.
The 21st, yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, I ran like a Twitter bracket. I let Twitter decide who's going to win the national championship. And shocker, Tennessee won the national championship in my Twitter poll.
Of course they did.
But the Final Four, let me tell you who the Final Four was. It was UConn, Baylor, Marquette, and Tennessee.
Okay. I thought you were about to tell Yeah, I thought you were about to tell me it was like Stetson, friggin' Vermont, Charleston, or Colgate, and then St. Peter's or Tennessee.
Yeah. No, most of the people actually voted for the chalky picks. They mostly just picked the higher seeds.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what you do in this bracket.
They
Most of the
did-
time you're wrong, but you know.
I think they did pick Mississippi State to make the Elite Eight though.
Oh, where did I have them at? Okay, I had them going out in the Sweet 16. That's right. Yeah, no. So I think they make it pretty far. I'm just not. Yeah, it would be something if UConn lost to Stetson Bennett. Okay, that's why I hope they don't. I don't want to hear that.
Stetson Bennett runs basketball too.
Yeah, I'd rather not hear that. Thanks. Imagine if Stetson made a Final Four. Oh my gosh! Imagine how much fuel it would give those idiots.
Imagine
Stetson made a Final Four. Tennessee couldn't even do that.
Imagine Stetson versus Tennessee in the national championship.
Imagine we lose. Oh,
if we did that, I already know Georgia fans would be like, "Look, Stetson Bennett still owns you."
Yeah,
Right.
God. That would be the thing. I would, if we did make a national championship, if we lost to like a blue blood, I would be like, okay, I can accept that. But if it was like someone who had never won a national championship, let's say like an Iowa State, or or just some random team,
right. Well,
that had like a Cinderella run, I would
honestly,
like disappear.
I wouldn't mind losing to Iowa State in the Natty. They're a good team.
they are a good team. Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
well,
I know,
before
but it's like if it was like someone else's first national championship, it'd sting a lot more.
right.
But it's like,
Well,
but it's like if we lost to North Carolina, it's like, oh well, you lost to North Carolina, one of the best basketball programs of all time.
Yeah, point is, I'm expecting no matter who we lose to, if we lose, I mean, if we lose in the Final Four, fire his ass, fire his ass. We're gonna hear somebody say that dumb hoo-ha.
I don't.
But before we shut down tonight, I do want to do one thing for the first time in Volstar podcast history. I am opening up the panel, so there's the StreamYard link. Come on in and let me know who you have making your Final Four.
Oh man, I thought you was never gonna do that.
Well, first time for everything, right? I'm gonna drop the panel tonight. Whoever wants to come in and express your thoughts on who you think's gonna make it all the way to the Final Four or win it all, let me know down. Or just come in here and let me know. Let the Volstar podcast crew know. If we don't get anybody, we'll go ahead and end this thing and shut her down, but we'll see.
Yo, Andrew, get up in here. If you're still in here. But
I'm going to just take a uneducated guess and say that South Carolina wins their first game.
Yeah, I think they'll beat Oregon. I think they'll beat Oregon.
This is just more talking about Andrew's bracket and who he has making it there.
He's probably going to talk about how South Carolina's going to win the national championship.
I've seen crazier things happen. Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, but I know. Look, I'm going to look at the lines really quick for all these games. I know Tennessee was like a 20-point favorite, and it bumped up a point. So we're now favored by 21 over St. Peter's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 21.5-point favorite. Man, Marquette is only a 14.5-point favorite over Western Kentucky.
There's something about them. Yeah, I know it for a fact. There's something about that team, I'm telling you.
Yeah, there's something about that matchup.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, there's something there that somebody's going to run with. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and shut her down, fellas. We've already run over an hour today, and I'd say that's a pretty good show. We had a great showing tonight from our crew. Shout out to, of course, the two people that joined, my co-host, my amazing, fantastic, as Pigskin Pete would say, the amazing and fantastic co-host that we have on here, Mr. Lucas Sharp and Julio Rodriguez. I've got their Twitter handles in the description below if you want to check them out. If you're not already subbed up to them, I highly recommend doing so. Whichever reaction they have for the Tennessee game coming up on Thursday, or whenever Tennessee plays, is going to be absolutely spectacular. Yeah, okay, so we play on Thursday, the 21st, 9:20 p.m. So we play late. Yeah.
Oh dang. Okay, so I'll be back for it.
Yeah, for
because
sure.
I have a doctor's appointment on the 21st and the 22nd.
Yeah, so literally it's 9:20 p.m. right now. They'd literally be playing at this exact time Thursday. So we only have a few more days, and by the point we meet at next week, we'll know who is in the Sweet 16. So hopefully, very, very hopefully, the Vols will still be alive past that point. We'll have to get through St. Peter's and then one of the teams between Texas, Virginia, and Colorado State, whoever wounds up meeting up and accepting their fate when Tennessee meets them in the round of 32. So I appreciate all of you guys sticking around. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to the people over on the Twitter page for watching. Of course, thank you to all of you guys for participating in the stream, whether you commented or just watched. Thank you guys so much. And of course, thank you again to my incredible co-hosts here on the Vol-Star podcast. We'll see you guys next week for the Sweet 16. We'll talk about the matchups there and whichever big thing comes up from now until next Monday. We'll see you guys next time. As always, of course, power to Tardaria, and more importantly for this show, go Vols, baby! Woo! BPD.